Welcome back. Now it's time for our SME segment, and I've been, honestly, I've been getting taught some things. I didn't think I would ever want to go into oil and gas till today. Mr. Emmanuel Udofia is here with us, and we're having a discussion with him as the MD of Suneses Energy. Now, it's an energy solution company focused on deep learning across the hydrocarbon accounting aspect of the framework. Now, it was designed to address technical and commercial needs across the HCA business. It's like a value chain that we need for him to break down for us. And over the years, Suneses Energy has consistently received exceptional positive feedback on this flagship course. It's great to have you here, Mr. Udofia. Welcome. All right, so for those that don't understand what Suneses Energy is all about, how would you break it down?
We are an oil and gas solution company.
Okay.
Focused mainly on the upstream.
Okay.
We provide digital transformation implementation solution.
Okay.
End-to-end. Hydrocarbon accounting solution end-to-end.
Okay, so you know everything you said now is like you just entered one ear and went out the other way. I need to break down what you mean by upstream and downstream for just the layman. So to the best of my knowledge, when I hear oil and gas, I think of, the process of distillation, what happens to Brent crude when it's broken down into everything from kerosene to diesel to PMS and gas as well. So your company doesn't deal with any of those aspects. Am I right?
Yeah, for now, yeah.
For now, okay. Yeah. So your business starts before that distillation process happens.
Yeah.
Okay, so please break down what exactly happens in the upstream.
In the upstream, basically you produce the oil from the well.
Okay.
Store it, maybe in a tanker.
Okay. And
you export it or sell it.
Interesting.
Which we call the custody transfer point.
All right.
Yeah.
So now let's talk hydrocarbon
accounting.
Accounting, that's the word I'm looking for. Hydrocarbon accounting, please break that down for us.
Hydrocarbon accounting is like an umbrella word that includes measurement, allocation, or allocating as some might call it, deferment, that's losses, how you manage your losses, and of course reporting of the data that you find.
So this is sort of measuring what comes out of the well.
Yeah,
what you produce. Okay. So I would have thought you start accounting when you've done all the breakdown, But you're saying that there needs to be some sort of accounting done as soon as it comes out of the well, essentially.
Yeah, when you talk about accounting or measurement, as the word I want to use, it's a little bit challenging in the oil and gas industry. Because in the oil and gas industry, 1 barrel plus 1 barrel is not 2. Okay. The reason why it's not 2, it's because the measurement inconsistency. And it's not really a problem. It's just that the variation shouldn't exceed an acceptable range.
So what is it about this particular business that made you decide, this is what I want to do? Because I feel like as a consultant, as an educator right now in this space, it's a very niche space. And it's even more high risk at this point.
Yeah.
So break down how you made this decision.
I made this decision because I found out there's a big gap. If you look at what the Nigerian extractive industry transparency initiative, which we just call NITI, reported, is that for the last 10 years, from 2014 to 2023, we've lost over 360 million barrels.
360
million barrels. This is official report. That if you can translate it, you count 1 million barrels every day in Nigeria. Because of what? Measurement error and allocation. So it's a big problem. Even the regulator, NUPROC, they recognize that. That was why they instigated integrity tests on the LACT unit or the custody transfer. because they have equally understand that, look, measurement is a big issue. And yeah, so you could see it's a big gap that because you might do all the work.
Yeah.
If you have issue at the point of measurement, then it's like
there's no gain.
There's no gain, basically. Yeah.
So now you've been training professionals. I would say you've been training professionals in the oil and gas sector, in this particular area. So would you say what your company does is more on the educational side of things or consulting side of things? And which side do you believe is more cost effective for you to maintain?
To be very frank, I would say we do all of that. But why the issue of the, let me use your word, education part of it,
yes,
is very important is that before you start solving any problem, you should be able to understand or accept the fact that there's a problem. And because when we talk about hydrocarbon accounting, it basically brings up the challenge that you have. If you don't do that, you might not even know that you have that such problem. So the first thing is to establish that this is what it is, then we progress from there. For instance, we do internal audit for companies. The outcome of the audit will tell you what you need to fix or what you need to do to be able to improve or make your system to be more efficient. And
actually, it kind of feels like you are in a sector that could be considered disruptive. Can I use that term?
I like that term.
Disruptive, because there are probably some entities, some sets of people who are not really hoping for everything to be measured so accurately. Have you ever felt like you might get any pushback in that area?
It's not really me having the pushback. Is that even I would say the government.
Okay.
I just mentioned 90. I mentioned the regulator.
Sure.
They know that there's a problem.
So they understand that there's a problem.
There's a problem. And so they are trying to fix it.
Okay.
So what we are doing is to enable that process.
Okay.
Because when we engage the operators, we take them through what we call the hydrocarbon accounting framework or process, as we might call it, to let them understand that this is the problem and this is how you need to solve it. So we bring it down to first principle. Yeah. So it's a game changer. Yeah, because the reality is that why spend that time or energy doing something that you know that you are losing at the point of measurement? I just mentioned what I just mentioned is official figure. Yeah, telling you that on the average we lose about 1 million barrels. If you multiply that now, a Brent crude is about $70 per barrel. Just multiply that. You know what we are talking about.
Yes. So now, if for instance you are to explain the types of clients you have, the assumption, of course, obviously most of the oil and gas giants, but then any other stakeholders who also need training.
Of course, because you see the measurement. I've been talking about maybe the upstream operators, even the downstream, because it's a principle. If this principle work here, certainly it will work anywhere. It's a principle.
I have to sort of ask this, and I don't know if it's a silly question to ask, but this knowledge you are sharing, isn't this someone who studied petrochemical engineering? Is it that they're not getting the proper education or exposure they need when they go to university to study this? Because I'm not in the engineering or sciences. So why is it that this particular knowledge is now niche?
That's a very good question. I read petroleum engineering up to a postgraduate level. And I will tell you that the curriculum doesn't really pick this up.
Okay.
This
the
was
accounting aspect.
The hydrocarbon accounting.
Wow.
The hydrocarbon accounting. So but this is an area that, from where I sit, is the most important, because it's like you are in a bakery. You produce 10 bread.
Yeah.
At the point of sale, they are telling that it's 8. So how, the question you ask, what do I need to do to bring it up to 9 or thereabout? So that's why I'm saying that it's not really about it's a very niche area, but very, very important for the business.
I have to say thank you so much, Mr. Udofia, for coming to talk to us today. As you said earlier when we started, there's never enough time to break these things down, but I think you've done excellently well, sort of just clearing the air on what you do and how exactly this affects your industry. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, now we have a chef in the kitchen who has been hard at work. She's been putting together something special and would love for you to join us there.
Okay.
Let's take a stroll.